Now let's turn our attention to the coronavirus outbreak. China today reported another 71 deaths, the lowest daily number of fatalities in over 2 weeks. The National Health Commission also reported 508 new confirmed cases, with all but 9 in hardest hit Hubei province. 60 more coronavirus cases were reported in South Korea, which is the smallest increase for 4 days. The country now has 893 cases and 9 people have died from the virus. Authorities have identified the French Christian group Shincheonji Church as being at the heart of this outbreak. At their services in Daegu, members likely infected one another and then fanned out around the country, apparently undetected. South Korean health officials believe that a 61-year-old member of the sect, who last week tested positive for the virus, was among the first to be infected and is now at the center of their investigation. The female patient initially refused to be transferred to a hospital to be tested and is known to have attended several church gatherings before testing positive. To share more on what's going on in South Korea is South Korea correspondent Chang Mei-chun. Mei-chun, let's get straight into it. What's known about the Shincheonji Church?
Earth in Korean was started in 1984 by a messianic leader called Lee Man-hee. It claims to have 200,000 members. It operates mainly in Korea, but they also have branches in the US and China's Wuhan, which is the epicenter of China's outbreak of the coronavirus. They are highly secretive. They've been accused of being a cult, and they are known to be an apocalyptic group. They have about 12 branches all over Korea, and they have more than 1,000 church facilities. Members of the church come from all walks of life. You've got doctors, you've got teachers, you've got military officers, government officials. And this was yesterday's news. A health official who was leading a team in Daegu's fight against the coronavirus, he revealed himself to be a Shincheonji member only after he tested positive last Sunday. And his team of 50 people are now under quarantine. But it is not the only church that has a cluster of coronavirus patients. There is another church in Busan that has 22 cases right now after they joined a church retreat. And another 30 cases are linked to a Catholic pilgrimage to Israel.
Now, Mei-chun, let's move away a little bit from the church. Now, you wrote a very interesting story today on people panic buying in Seoul. Give us an idea of how things are like on the ground.
Right. Panic buying, I'm sure Singaporeans are very used to, seeing all the empty shelves and whatever. This was last weekend when it was revealed that in Seoul, the upscale district of Socho had 3 confirmed cases. So people went out to the marts to stock up food because they think that they will not be going out. They want to have enough food to last, a week or 2. But now it's quiet down a little bit. Some of the marts are still seeing long queues, but others are deathly quiet. I also see that when I go out, I was in Myeongdong yesterday to check out, how the streets are like. More than half of the people in the streets are wearing masks. And a lot of the shops, not just your pharmacies, they are selling hand sanitizers, they are selling face masks. And of course, you can imagine the online platforms that are selling groceries and what have you. They are very busy now because there are so many orders. And food delivery, of course.
Yeah. Now, Mei-chun, how did the outbreak actually reach this scale in such a short period of time?
I have no idea. And I don't think, the government officials, the doctors, have any clue either. The first patient to be tested positive from the church cluster was this 61-year-old woman. But they don't know whether she is the first. She could have gotten it from someone else. But the entire church, sorry. There was this funeral held in Cheongdo City, January 31st to February 2nd. It was a funeral for the elder brother of the church founder. So many Shincheonji church members were known to have attended that funeral. And Cheongdo together with Daegu are the biggest epicenters of Korea's coronavirus outbreak. We also know that some of the churches' unorthodox practices could have contributed to the rapid spread of the virus. For example, we hear from former members who say that they are not allowed to wear glasses or even masks. They're basically
Oh.
not allowed to wear anything on their face when they go in for a church service. And there's a lot of body contact. They hold hands when during church service, and then they also put their arms around each other when they sing. They also share their lunch boxes. They go for Bible study in a very small, cramped, crowded areas. And they are also trained not to fear illnesses, which means like, if you're sick, that should not stop you from going to church and doing things. Another thing is basically in Korea, illness does not stop you from going to work. Like, if you are sick, you still go into the office unless someone tells you to go home. And a lot of them would just go to the hospital, get a drip, and after that they feel revitalized and they just go back to work.
Now, Mei Chun, at least 6 countries have banned visitors from South Korea, and 9 other nations, including Singapore and the US, have issued travel advisories. Now, Singapore's tourism sector is projected to see a 25 to 30% decline in visitor arrivals. What about South Korea?
I'm sure the figures would be even bigger, but there are no figures yet. Okay, but about 20 million, Korea had about 20 million tourists last year, mostly from China. And since they started banning tourists from Wuhan and Hubei, this figure will probably, the number of visitors will probably drop very sharply. Tour agencies say they have received 20 to 30% cancellations from Chinese tour groups. And I think the number from Southeast Asia will also go up as the number of cases in Korea go up.
Now, Mei Chun, on a final note, travel, the travel industry aside, how about other sectors? I understand that Samsung temporarily shut down its factory in Gumi, and universities here have actually suspended their exchange programs to South Korea.
Yes, it's not just the exchange programs. Even university graduations or major activities, mass events have all been cancelled. Libraries, museums have been closed. Kindergartens have been closed as well. Childcare centers and schools. The opening of schools have been pushed back to March 9th. And we also see that concerts have been postponed. And then malls and supermarkets where confirmed cases have visited would also close for disinfection.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mei Chun. I've been speaking to Chang Mei Chun, who is South Korea correspondent for the Straits Times. Now visit straitstimes.com for the latest on the outbreak in South Korea.